Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
We will discuss about different types of journey first. I'll just quickly create one folder for us. We can create a multiple use cases here. Perfect. Here we have three types of journey. We have a multi-step, single-step and transactional ascent journey. Anything to do with the AP, I call, we are going to be covering in the upcoming session. In this today's session, we are not going to be covering only the API side of it. We are going to be covering that in the upcoming session. This transactional ascent journey purely works on the API side. It's going to be same as what we have done in the email studio for triggered send. Triggered send is something again we have not covered because it comes under the API. We will cover this like in the upcoming session. Single send and multi-step stints. What is a major difference here? In the multiple step journey, we can combine multiple channels here. Like if I have to send SMS, email, push notifications, social studio campaigns. And I can combine all of them together, like if I use a multi-step journey. And in other hand, if I use a single send journey, I can either pick up one of the channels. It can be either SMS or email for me. Suppose if I go and click on the single send email. I just have to pick up a data extension where I have the target audience. And I just pick up the email and click on the schedule button. When do I have to send the email? Here, if I click on the entry source, and this is the entry source for us. And we cannot change the entry source in the single step journey. It will be only a data extension. We cannot change this option, but we are in a multi-step. We get an option to change the entry sources. Let me quickly click on Select Data Extension. And here we pick up the target audience. Whoever should get the email communication from us. We have a data extension already. I just open this. I just select this. It will also tell us saying that there are no active journeys using this data extension. That means there are no journeys. Live now with this data extension. And if there are any active journeys running with this data extension, it will also give us a warning. If you use this data extension, there is a high chance that the customer will get that email twice. It will give a warning when this data extension is being already used in a different journey. Perfect. We will come to this filter. This is simply like we apply filter on a contact data. If you would like to exclude some of the customers, like the country is equal to India, or like a fan's gender is equal to female. See if you would like to apply filter. We can also apply them directly here. Let's click on Done. Now the entry source is ready. Entry source is nothing, but who my target audience. I picked up my target audience to the data extension, and here we pick up the email. And again, this is also pretty much straightforward, which we have already covered in the email studio. For some reason, this is very slow. It's taking a while. Now, when I click on email, it is asking me to select the message. I can select the message which we have already created in the content builder. If there is an email already ready, we can just directly pick up the email, or I can also create it from scratch. And here's the same as how we created in the content builder. If I click on new message, it will just open the content builder and then it will ask me to pick up a template. And then we create it from scratch, like how we used to create an email in the content builder. It just opened the same. No difference. It's going to be the same interface. I don't know, for some reason. This is super slow. Now I can see it is asking for templates. If I go back, it will ask me to select the message. And here we will have to pick up the email which we have already created. I'll just pick up something. I think this is the one which we have created. This is the one. I'll just pick up this email and then click on summary. Here we do the same, the configuration which we have already done it in the email studio. Like we pick up the same classifications whether if it's a transactional or commercial. We pick up that here. And in the delivery option, we also pick up the publication list. If this needs to be like a certain publication list for all subscribers. Here, if I scroll down, we have a sent route link. This is again, we know when do we have to use it. And we have the tracking, our routines and log data. This is everything. The options that we get is pretty much same as an email studio. But we just keep it default options. We don't usually change any of them. Like how we have configured in the email studio. And in the final step, like in advance. This is a multi-part memo. I believe this is also something that we will have to keep it by default. Because this email basically what it does is, it will add the text version in the email. Whenever we trigger an email with customers, it will also include the text version. That means if a customer, there are some cases customer will not be able to download the images. In that situation, if the multi-part MIME is enabled, customers will be able to read the email by the text version. That's the reason we enable this option. It's the best practice that we always have to include the text versions. And even the customer, the internet connection is very slow. And they may not be able to just read the email properly if we send only in the HTML version. I have noticed a problem with Outlook many times. Like whenever I trigger an email, it goes to Outlook. If I try to read an email in Outlook, it doesn't really let you load the email just first. It just shows the text version of it. That's how it really helps in the email. And here we have a CC and BCC. This is again, we don't use it for commercial. I think we also discussed about the examples for C, C and B, C. And whenever we set up a campaign on the API using an API call. Like suppose if instead of a data extension, if I use an API, and how we can disable the number of APIs that we can push from a third-party system. How do we disable API calls after the error threshold has reached? That's something that we can control through the API call directly. If the number of errors that occurred to the API call is more than 10, then we can stop this complete journey. This is something that we never use it. We don't need to really worry about it. An example that if you ask me, if there are 10 contacts, fail to inject into a journey, and then we can pass this entire automation through API call. That's the best example that I can say to disable the journey through API call. And adding a keyword, we don't again use it much. Suppose if you are doing a campaign, like if you're doing a life cycle campaign, you can keep adding this life cycle like early stage. And then early stage in the sense like a customer just showed interest to your product, and then you bring them into Salesforce Marketing Cloud and then send them an email for them to purchase the product and service. And once they purchase the product, they will become a customer or merchant to you. And we will keep the next keyword like a merchant lifecycle. And then some of the customers may probably go out of your, probably not actively use your product. We keep the another life cycle on the engagement and refer a friend and become ambassador and share a feedback. There is a lot of life cycle that we have with the customers that we travel for each and every product and service. We can give keywords here directly. And when we extract the report, we also be able to see these keywords in the report that we extract from our analytics builder. When we extract the journey reports, we can see this keyword as well. Perfect. All this is a simple configuration. I just have to pick up the email. Here, we don't usually change anything here. Our go and star option. We will always go with the default option and delivery option, and again, we go with default option. Only the publication list, changes here. We know already how we can change it. And message in the message configuration. Yes, if it's a commercial and if you have like any specific sender profile that you have to pick up, we can pick up directly from here. And then, yes, we don't also do. We just have to pick up the email. The rest of them we already have done it, like in the email studio. And that's it. I just have to give it a time when this email has to go. If I say on activation, and also I can give some specific time like how we did it in email studio. If I go with activation, I can just simply click on send. And then all of these 7 customers that I have in this data extension will get this email away. Or I'll just save this in this folder. Perfect. Great going back. Please stop me at any point of time if you have any questions. All, I'll create another new journey. This journey will create it with a multi-step. In a multi-step, here we get plenty of entry sources. And here we have the activities. Activities represents the channel for us. Now we have only email studio license with us. But if you have an email, if you have an SMS mobile push-in app messaging and networks, then we can combine all of those channels together. Or like in a single campaign, I can also send SMS, email, push notification, all of them in a single campaign itself. That's how the multi-step is powerful, because we can combine multiple activities in the customer journey flow. And another advantage that we get using a multi-step is the flow controls. We can control the customers and their touch points and how they need to travel in the journey with us. Example, like if a customer is from India, then I create a filter and then I send them a proper communication. We target the customers based on their interest, based on their preferences, and all of them. We use the flow control to create a path for each and every customer. We will deep dive into each and every flow control in today's session. And we also have a sales and service cloud. This is something that we have also checked when we did integration. This becomes super powerful. Journey Builder becomes super powerful because we can start using the Sales and Service Cloud Select directly in the journey. We will also see a couple of use cases today. Now I'll start with the Journey Builder. Before this, I would like to bring some example. We need to understand how journey data and contact data are used for us. When I pick up the data extension as my entry source, this is my entry source, this is my entry source. It can be one of these entry sources that we have. We have data extension, API cloud pages, Yunnan Salesforce data, and go and share it all of them. It can be any one of them. It cannot be like more than one. Now let's take the data extension as entry source. This we already know, we already did it. I'll just pick up a random data extension straight away without explaining here. Perfect. My data extension is selected. This is going to be my entry source and we have about 6 customers. Who is going to get the communication from us? Now let's talk about the scenario where you have to send an email to multiple countries. Now a management is coming back to you saying that, Kumar, please send an email to the customers. But each and every customer should get the different channel messages based on their country. If they belong to India, they should get the push notification. If they belong to Germany, they should get the email communication. How do we basically do that? How do we basically filter the customers at the time of sending? This is the first case that we will be looking on it. The first use case is sending an email communication based on different countries the customer belong to. Here we have a decision split. I can just drag and drop them here. In this decision split, I can configure using a journey data. I'll come to the contact data. We'll also discuss about the contact data. Here we have a decision split. Here is a path 1. You can also add more paths. Suppose if you have customers from multiple countries, we can keep adding a path here. Let's say like India here and Germany. And here I can keep on adding a path. Maximum of 10 paths is what we can create in the decision split. Here I am going to create a reminder saying the rest of the countries. Perfect. Now for India, we have defined a logic. If I click on edit, here we have a journey data and contact data. I will come to this content data in a while. Journey data, let's click on it. This will easily shows the name of our journey that we have created. Since we have not named it, it shows the same name here as well. Here we have multiple fields. Country data, both email, first name and all of them. If I'm what are we trying to achieve here is that we try to send out the communication differently for each and every country separately. For India, we need to send out the different communication. For customer, we know this is a field we use the for, like the customer information are stored, like in each and every field. I can simply drag and drop the country equals India. And I'd say done. And you go to the next path. Here I will use the journey again. Now again drag and drop the country. Here I will say Germany. Last one, again contact, journey data and the end of the country. Here it's going to be a Spain. And we don't need to put any condition on the list of the countries. Now, if customer comes from countries equal to India, there will be a new path created and same it goes for Germany and Spain. And if the customer does not belong to any of this condition, they'll come to this rest of the country path. If you click on 10, a system has created a different path for us India, Germany, Spain and the rest of the countries. As we discussed before, if I have to send an email to India customers, I can just drag and drop them here. And if I have to send SMS to Germany, then I can drag and drop. If I have to do a WhatsApp to Spain and probably like email to rest of the countries, I can simply drag and drop each and every country. We know how we can configure each and every channels. We just pick up the email and then we pick up the same classification and then we configure the publication list. And then we do the configuration, the same configuration. We have to do it for SMS, WhatsApp and email. Simple. And then here we can just validate it. And then once we validate, if there are no issues, then we can directly activate this campaign. This is how we split the customers based on customer preferences. If the campaign objective is based on like a gender, like if a customer gender is equal to male, then I send a different email. If the customer gender is equal to female, I send the different email communication. If that is my objective, that I am working on it. Instead of a country, I can put the gender field here for condition. Based on that, it will just create a field for us. Basically, the decision split is something that we use. It mainly for splitting the customer based on condition in the journey. I believe this is really important. We use this decision split quite frequently. It's very important. And now, moving on with this flow controls, other flow controls. Here we have a wait by duration. Suppose if you would like to probably delay the SMS. Now I'm sending an email here and I would like to just delay the SSS for German customers. Like one day you can just drag and drop them. And I can also configure how much is the delay that I have to add it. This particular category, particular path. I can say like 2 days, 3 days, even like minutes, hours, weeks and months. If I say like probably like 5 minutes here. I say like 5 minutes and a customer will get the SMS of 5 minutes delayed. What happens as soon as I activate, they come to the script. Our customers come into the decision split and immediately they'll be split it here based on their country. And then after 5 minutes, a customer will come to this path and the rest of the path. They will get the irrelevant communications immediately. But only for this German path. It will be delayed for 5 minutes and then they will get the SMMS communication. And after 1 day, they will exit from the journey directly. This is how we use this. Wait by duration and wait until date is also pretty much same. But instead of like an hourly day basis, it will be on a specific date. Until today, it becomes a on date that we can't hear here the email or the specific communication or WhatsApp communication will not be triggered. For example, if I say like the 17th until 7:30 am. Based on this time zone, customer will not get the communication. They will start getting the communication when the system date, when today's date is equal to March 17. And then when it becomes March 17, 7:30 am, all of the WhatsApp communication will start going to the customers. Yes, one question. 5 minutes. Once you activated it, you wait for 5 minutes, then send the SMS. But it's not 5 minutes for each customer. Yes, it will not be 5 minutes for each customer. After 5 minutes, all of the customers will start getting the SMS. Is there any way we can put a delay for each customer? For each customer? No, we cannot put that for each customer. Even this wait until date also works in the same way, but we give it a date. We give it a kind of a specific date when the email communication or any of the communication in the flow needs to go. We just define the date here. And in other hands, we have a wait by attribute. This wait by attribute is going to be based on, it's a really interesting capability that we have in Juni Builder. Wait by attribute works mainly on the date-based event. Example. This type of a flow control is being used by majority of the organizations like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Artstar, or any organization which works on the subscription basis. We know this Prime or Netflix, it works on a subscription basis, monthly, or it just they may have the customers. There are some customers who may also take it for yearly subscriptions. We use these kind of companies, they use the wait by attribute. Now wait by attribute. Before we look into this wait by attribute, we need to see the contact data. That's when we will be able to understand. Here select attribute. I can do it with the Juni data. We'll come to this contact data separately. Now this is a date-based attribute. It shows only the date-based attribute if you have in the data extension. And let's go to the Juni. Here it shows only the data because that is the only date-based attribute I have in the data extension I have selected. Suppose if I have a date-based field, I call it like a subscription expiry date, something like that. Only a date-based attribute I can see here. Now let's do a campaign based on a data. You might probably have experienced it. That there are some organizations they use to send out the email just before your birth date. Like on the exact, I usually get email from a website. There is a retail showroom called website. They send you an email communication exactly on your birthday, saying that someone dropped a question. Can you please tell me how to find and unsubscribers for particular data extension for February month? Can you please tell me how to find subscribers for particular data extension for February month? Sorry, I think like we are talking say. We'll talk about this like once we complete this. I think it's something not relevant to the one we are talking about now. I'll come to this part. Say Ram. Perfect. Here we just to like a recall. We can use only the date-based attribute. If I have like 100 fields in the data extension, I can only use the fields which is a date-based, which has the field type as a date. Now let's use this. I just picked up. Then let's go to the next step, which is going to be a wait interval. You might have noticed it just before your birthday. Exactly on birthdays, you get an email. Here we can control that. Here, if I say on when someone's date of birth becomes today, they will get all the communication. I can also say before. If I say before, and here if I say 2 days, that means just before my date of birth, customer date of birth, and I can trigger an email to them like it's just 2 days before and saying that we see that you have a birthday in 2 days. And here is a coupon code that you can use it to get a 20% discount on our website. I can use this type of wait interval to trigger an email to the customers based on the customer information we have in the data extension, which is a data type. Data date type. Let me bring an example. If I have the expiry date, like in the data extension, I can send out the email to the customer just before 2 days, all saying that your account is going to expire. Would you like to renew your account? Please click the below CD button to do the payment. We might have definitely seen this kind of campaign. And it's all configured from this. We have configured from this wait interval. And another best example that I can give you is, this is also something that you might have probably come across, that when we buy some product from an e-commerce website, after we purchase the product, we will send out the email. Basically, Amazon or Flipkart will send out the email to us saying that thank you for your purchase and our address has been successfully delivered. I hope you are enjoying the product and service that we have given. And then they'll also ask you for a feedback. This usually comes to us after the product is being delivered after 7 days. After 7 days, they send you a kind of a feedback form where you can just give you a review for the particular product. They usually do it once we buy the product. That's something that I can also control it here. I'll say after here, I'll say 7 days. After my product is delivered deliver date, I will have in the data extension. I'll pick up the delivery date here. Here, instead of a data work, it needs to be delivered. Then in the wait interval, I change it to 7 days after. That means after 7 days, they'll give my email for asking for the feedback for the particular product or service they have purchased. This is how we control it using a date-based attribute. It's only to do with the date-based attribute. We cannot apply any conditions like with other fields. It's going to be like only with the date-based. This wait by attribute and event is pretty much the same. We are using this as a flow control in the journey, but in the event we also do pretty much same, but we do it as an entry source here. We say like a customer who has a birthday just before 2 days and they will enter into my journey. That's how I can control, but the objective of this functionality is same. We will also cover that in a while. Let me save this journey. Perfect. It's saved in that folder in case if we have to. You're saving the first time. Do you go to directly the folder or do you in the main folder? Then that's kind of like it doesn't usually like store in the particular folder. Whenever we have to save this journey, as soon as we click on save, it will always save in all journeys folders. We just have to click on organize and then we have to move to the folder where we would like to keep it. Here, I just click on it and then I have to move it manually. When I click on save simply without organizing, it will directly go to my all folders. It just goes to my all folders tab. It goes to my all journey folder. If there are any live running journeys which we have, if you would like to move them, you can just simply drag and drop. We can just simply drag and drop the journeys also here directly to the folders. That's also something that we can do. Perfect. Great. I believe like far it's pretty much clear. In order to reduce the complexity, probably like I'll just create or I can just do it in the same like with one activity and then we'll create a new journey. All here, we have a decision split and then we filter to the customers and then we send out the different communications to each and every country. And then we are using also a date-based attributes here. Here we have a wait duration. We have a wait duration until date and wait by attribute to this something that we have applied. Now there is a nifty capability, nifty advantage, or probably like I would say like the best capability that we have in a journey builder is that we can track the customer engagement in the email. We cannot track the engagement in the SMS and again, not for WhatsApp. For push notification, we can also engage. We can track the engagement like whether the customer has clicked my push notification or not. That's something that I can track it, but these channels to this channel, I cannot do it. This engagement split helps us to track if the customer has opened my email or not. That's something that I'll be able to do it now. What I would like to achieve is I would like to send out the email to the customers. And if the customer did not open my email after 2 days of the time, the email that I have sent it, and I would like to resend the email to them. Customer who has not opened my email. That's an objective that I have now. I send an email and after that I just simply drag and drop the engagement split. Now my engagement split is added into the path. And here after 2 days, suppose if I say 2 days, if the customer did not open my email. I just made it as a 2 days here. Here, in order to pick up the engagement split, we need the email to be configured. I'll just quickly pick up that email. I'll just pick up the email. I keep all the default configuration. Let's click on Done. We have this email that's been configured now. And here we have the engagement split. What happens is when I click on engagement split, it will ask me which is the email that I have to track the engagement. When I click on select message, there's only one email that we have configured. Far is this test_5b2b2. This is an email. If you have multiple emails that you have already sent to the customers, we get all the messages here like in the tiles and we can pick up which is the one you would like to track the engagement. We can pick up only one. Let's pick up this one and go to metrics. Here we have 3 metrics. One is open, click and bounce. This is the nifty feature that I was talking about, that we can track if the customer is like opening the email or not, clicking the email or not, or if they're getting bounced. Now, what we would like to achieve is like if the customer did not open my email even after 2 days, after 2 days of the email that we trigger, I would like to resend the email communication to them. I'm going to say and pick up the metrics as of open. Let's click on summary and then done. Now we just created a 2 path for us. This says open. This set of customers has opened the email and this set of customer has not opened the email. This is a 2 simple path it has created for us. Now I can trigger another email to them after 2 days. After 2 days, it will check if the customer has opened or not, and then it will trigger an email to them. And this is how the flow will keep on increasing. You might have to keep sending an email based on the engagement. Now the customer has opened my email, but they did not click it. I can also add an engagement split here. Here, this set of customers has already opened my email, who is coming into this path. They have already opened my email, but I'm going to check if the customer has opened or not. Again, same way, because the engagement split in pick up the message and the metrics. Instead of a click, I'm going to pick up the click. Here, when I pick up this metric, it will ask for which is the CTE button. This shows whatever the link that we have used in the email. Complete. It will show all the CTE links. And if you pick up this, that means if a customer click only on the CTE button, they will come into this path. Otherwise, they will not come. If I say summary, click on summary and done. We have a 2 path here. This is yes and no. Customer who clicked on that particular CTE button where Amazon come, they will come into this path. Customer who did not click that particular CTE button will come into this path. This is how we can bring the customers based on their engagement. This is really also a cool capability. If you have a multiple CTE button in your email template, now it says Amazon come. Only if a customer click on this particular link, they will come into this path. And if a customer did not click this link, they will come into this path. I can bring an email to them again with a different set of email templates and probably attracting them to click on this particular link. This is a series of messages that we can deliver. Let's click on. Well, I hope far it's been straightforward. Just 2. This is the capability we have with the engagement split that it can. And thus we can understand the customer engagement if they are engaging with the email, if they're opening, clicking, bouncing and all of them, and we can do all of that. Whenever the customer doesn't click on a city link, it will trigger the email. Not trigger the email. We are checking the engagement here. It's up to you. Like what is a channel that you would like to trigger? We are just checking. Clicked on the particular CTE button or not. If customer click on the other then that's sitting for the. Let's assume the customer clicked on a Facebook or a. Will it consider as it is engaged to our journey or not? Based on the setup that we have done it, they will come in because what we have selected is only up. That's what. Can we select all the links that we can? We can track him like he's engaged with. Yes, we can. We can do that. We can pick up a multiple links here. Multiple links we can pick up. And then if customer click on any of these things, they will come into this path, and customer who did not click those links, they will come into this path. What? It's a good catch. That's a perfect question. Great. I'll save this journey and probably I'll create it. I'll just rename this one. Let's say decisions left. Data, attributes and engagement. With any journey now. One more question. If any bones happen, then we can add the email to the suppression list. Please come back again. Your customer is bounced and you would like to add them into a bone status. Do we joke? If any bones happen, we can add the email address into suppression list. Or no, we don't need to add it like a manually system will automatically add them into bone status. Like if they have been keep on bouncing continuously for more than 3 times, this system will take care of it automatically. It will add into the suppression list. Yes, thank you. The bone status customers is something that we have not done it manually. The subscriber status, we have it here, the bone status, hence status. It's all something that we haven't done it manually. It's all something has been done it from the system by default. Here we have active like a bounce out of them. There's a logic which runs in the back end that your system will be keep on checking. If the customer is keep on getting bones for more than 3 times, 4 times, and then they will be marked as a bone status automatically. And we just have to manually. What is our responsibility is whenever we trigger the event, we just have to make sure that we don't include this bounced customers. That's why we have this data extension. In that data extension, we have to filter the customers whose status is like a L and bombs customers. We should have to remove them. That's why we use this equal query and then filter data extension to exclude these set of customers. Only the active customers will get the communication. Thank you. Great, we with a new journey. Multi-step again. We were talking about different flow controls. And made by duration is something that we have completed. Addition split, engagement split. We have a couple of more controls. I think we have enough time to complete it. I'll talk about the rest of the capabilities that we have. We have a path optimization. Path optimization is nothing but a A/B testing in Journey Builder. I can just simply drag and drop them. I have to also pick up the entry source. I'll just pick up some random data extension. That is my entry source. And this is a data extension. This data extension is my entry source. And here I can just drag and I can directly do the AAV testing here. What is the difference between AAV testing in the email template and the path optimization journey builder is that it works exactly same. But one extra advantage is that probably two advantage of using a path optimization in journey builder is that we can create a multiple. Multiple fields here, maximum of 10 paths that we can create in our optimization path optimization. For example, if you configure, this is the same thing, same concept, which we have done it in the AAV testing. We can evaluate the winner based on engagement or we can decide the winner manually. Let's say if I'm going with engagement and picking up the click rate. Whichever path has the highest click rate will be the winner for us. The path with the highest email click rate wins and path with the highest email open rate wins. And we have also unsubscription path with the lowest email average unsubscribe rate wins. This is an objective of a particular A/B testing. It can be either one of the subjective. It cannot be like a combination of 2 or 3 paths here. It can be like only one. And here, and how long would you like to monitor this entire AAV testing? We also done the same thing in the AAV testing. The more and more you give it gives you accurate results because when I keep it like one day, we will still get the report. But it may not be accurate because some customers may open it in the second day of the email that we send or third day. Just to be on a safer side, I'm just giving 3 days here. I'm giving time for all the customers to open the email. The first step is a winner evaluation. If you say manual, that means after 3 days or 2 days, you have to come to a uni and then you have to pick up the winner manually by yourself. Then you have to pick up to this is a winner and this is a winner. We have to do it manually. If it's engagement based on the matrix that we pick up, a system will automatically conclude the results after 3 days. System will automatically tell us this is a winner because this path does have a highest rate. Open now. Let's go to the split. Here, this is also something we are adding in the AAV testing. But the advantage is that we can add a maximum of 10 paths in this path optimization for testing purpose. This option, we did not have it in the AAV testing. There was only 2 categories, category A and category B. I can send out like 40%, 50%, then the remaining category. I can send it to a remainder category. There was only like 2 paths, technically 2 paths. But here we can create a multiple path here. Suppose if you have a 5 emails to test out, you can add 5 paths here. 20 cent is how we have to be able to control that. And final step that we have to do is like hold back. In this hold back, this is nothing but a hold back as a remainder category. This is disabled because this will work only on run once schedule. Suppose if I just click on schedule, click on run once select, then now if I go back to path optimization, now I can see it's enabled. I can give a percentage. Like 10% of the customer will be hold back. They will be in a hold status. 9% of the customers will get into the testing. 10% of the customers will be held back. And when the winner is decided, like this is a remainder category. This is nothing but the remainder category that we have seen in A/B testing. When the winner is completed, this hold back customer will get the email communication from us. After 3 days, once the winner is decided, this 10% of the customer will get the communication from us. The same as A/B testing. Two advantages of using our path optimization journey will be that we can add multiple paths here for testing. One second advantage is that we can combine multiple channels. I can SMS, I can add email, I can add WhatsApp, I can combine multiple channels in a single A/B testing. Suppose if you are working in a campaign where you have to figure out which is a channel is giving you a best result. Then I can just simply add the email here and I will add the SMS. I can add the WhatsApp and campaign. We can do A/B testing with the multiple channels together. But I have picked up an engagement. Instead of an engagement, you change it to manual. Because when we use multiple channels, the system will not give you a best result. Because SMS is something that we cannot check the open rate, it will not be accurate results. Change it to manual, then read the stats here. Then we will be able to conclude the big enough like a manual here. This is another advantage of using a path optimization because it will allow us to analyze the performance of each and every channel separately. This is one. Random split. Random split is also, again we use it for a testing purpose. I cannot really tell you like where do we use it in all of them. But it's simply like it splits the customer randomly. Like example, let's imagine that you have two email templates. Same content, but the design is different. And probably like you would like to split them randomly. Here I can just simply add the random split just before it. Now when I click on it, it will also create a different path. I just give a percentage here. Maximum of 10 paths that I can create. 5% is distributed. I add a path. It will create a 3 path for me. If I click on done one, this is the first path. They will go for A/B testing. Second path here and third path. It just randomly splits the customer wherever that. I add the random split here. It splits the customer. Then each and every path will get a 30. This is 33 and 33. And we can keep the channel like a channel communications here for every path. It splits the customer randomly. It's not a biased state. It just splits the customer. And here we have a join functionality. This join functionality is useful. Suppose if you would like to join one path into another path, then it's very useful. Suppose I would like to drag and I would like to join this set of paths into the existing path that I have. I can just drag and drop it here. What happens? Once a customer comes into this path, and here we have, suppose email. And after we do an email, and then this set of customer will be joined into this path. And if I have any other communication here, the customer will also get this communication and also this communication. We will be just basically joining with another path that we have already. Suppose if you would like to add them for testing, and whoever probably if you would like to add these also customers into A/B testing. And you can just simply add them into just before the A/B testing path optimization. This customer will be directly added here. They come here. If I look at this, they directly come and join in this path. This is how we can join the customers with another table. Let me create another journey now. Path optimization. And what we have checked is joined. The main difference between the split and the path optimization. Path optimization helps to identify the vendor. Yes, it's the customer randomly. I just created another journey. I'll cover the rest of the flow controls because it may be confusing to put the flow controls in a single journey. Now, this capability is really interesting. But this one works on an APK and also based on a data extension. Let's pick up the data extension as an entry source. And I trigger an email. Let me probably talk about the real-time use case. Let's imagine that you are an e-commerce based organization and there are some of the customers who have added a product into your cart, but they did not buy. We have captured all of this information and then we have it in the Salesforce bucket. Now we have the data of a customer who has added the product into a cart, but they didn't buy. Now I will trigger an email here to the customers who has active products items added into the cart, but they didn't buy. This is my customers. And I'm triggering an email to them saying we see that you have added some product and items into the cart, but you didn't buy. Would you like to buy them? Click on this below link. Now I'm going to give them a time here. Let's say 1 hour or something like that. Let's say 2 hours. After 2 hours, I want to check in real time if the customers are buying my product or not. If the customers are they have already added the product to a cart, I want to check if the customers are converting in real time. The real time is underlined here. If you want to check if the customers are buying your product in real time, that's when the user wait until the event. If I drag and drop them. Here there are two options. I can either use a data extension or an API call. In case If you would like to achieve in figuring out if the customers are buying your product in real time or not, then we have to use the API. If you have a data extension, if this data extension is running like through a SQL query like every 30 minutes, then that's also something that you can use. Now, when I click on wait until event, there is only two paths. This path talks about event occurred. That means the customer is purchased. And here there is another path which says no event. That means the customer did not purchase the product. That's a two event or two path that it will quit. Now here I am going to create the choose API. That's the first step. You create an event. This will automatically create this event definition key name, this API. Just copy this event definition key and then store it in the notepad. And this is a definition key that we will use it to trigger an API. I call for the customers to inform that these customers have already purchased. We need this definition key to keep it separately. We will pass on this to definition key to our developers. Developer will take care of pushing the API. I calls using this definition key. We'll talk about this definition key in the upcoming session because we are going to be also covering how we can send the request to API. I call using this tool called Postman. Now let's pick up. Whenever we push the records, I'll push the customer's API call and where it needs to be stored. I'll again pick up the random data extension here. Let's imagine all of the customers that pushed through these API calls will be stored in this data extension. And the next path is a filter criteria. And I go to journey data, status. I can say like a status is equal to equals purchased. This is my filter and final one is a maximum duration. Here we have a maximum of month. Suppose if I say 5 months, it doesn't make sense. 5 months. Probably I say like a week, 5 weeks. Now what happens is there is a two event that is created. One is a event occurred and no event occurred. Here I'm using a definition key. In this definition key, it's going to be like keep on pushing the customers to the data extension when the customers achieve the product. If the customer purchased the product, they immediately come up with this path. And here I can send an email communication to them saying thank you for purchasing the product. Blah, blah, blah. And all of that. We trigger an email in real time saying that thank you for purchasing the product. And here we can see customers who did not buy the product after 5 weeks. And if the customer did not come into this path, we send another email saying to the customer, last good is left to buy the product with the offer. Please, we can create some kind of attractive message to urge them to buy the product. This is how we create the concept. Now we can easily compare it. I have 10 customers or 100 customers have triggered an email, and out of 100 customers, whoever has received this email is a conversion for me. Out of 100, how many of them received the event occurred email? That means they have already purchased the product. We can easily compare if I have 100, if I have 50. My conversion rate is 5%. This set of 50% of customers did not buy the product after 5 weeks. If any of the customers buy the product within 5 weeks, then they will come here. If the customer did not purchase the product after 5 weeks, they will automatically come into this path. They will come only after 5 weeks, not in many ways. Once this wait duration, we have set up this wait duration. Here we set this maximum wait duration. 5 weeks after contact exit enters activity. Until and unless the customer will be here only. Like 100 customers, I send out the email. All of them will be here itself. And whenever the customers buy the product real time, they'll come and get this email communication and they will be here like for 5 weeks. And after 5 weeks they did not buy. Immediately, they'll be pushed to this path only after 5 weeks. This is a concept that we can read. And this has been now started used by a lot of e-commerce based companies and companies which they payment like online. They started using these activities very much and they also see it like really interesting and very useful. And I think like all of the flow controls is on. Yes, someone has a question. The wait event. If suppose we are giving the 5 items, we are saying that we have an offer. Then the purchasing will happen in the third party system. Even that third party system has to send the API event to SFMC. Yes, that's coordination between the two teams. Exactly. That's why we use this definition key. This definition key is something that we have to use it to send the email. Perfect. It's a really good question because it may be not the same case. Like, we will use the cloud pages all the time. We will use the third-party website. When customer buys some product in the third-party website, I have to send a signal to Marketing Cloud rights. And that's when we use this definition key and then immediately email a little bit to go to the customers. And it will also be updating in a data extension saying that the customers purchased. Perfect. We also have the wait until push engagement, wait until chat response. But unfortunately, we will not be able to use two of this capability because we don't have a license for it. We don't have it for push and also for chat. This works exactly the same, but it works on engagement. If the customer opened or clicked my push notification or not. If we wait for 5 days, if the engagement says like, click the push notification even occurred. If they did not click my push notification for more than 1 hour, then no event occurred. Same goes for chat response. If we have WhatsApp that has been integrated already in the SMCA phone, we can also check the customers are responding back to the SMCA. I mean the WhatsApp communications, and we can quickly wait until events based on that. I think we have pretty much covered all the flow controls. Let's move on to the next. Next entry sources. As we discussed, API is something that we will use it and Salesforce data is something that we have already covered it. Along with the integration, we have done it. Inbound chat is something we don't have a license. It's also not part of this program. We have a cloud page and we have an event that we can cover it. Then we are pretty much done with the journey. Build a Let me just move it here. This is for. Perfect. What are the easiest topics? Product features who can learn quickly for SFCA. I mean and it depends on. It's a function of the site. I'll create one more journey. We can now focus on the rest of the entry sources. We are going to be covering this API event in a separate session. We'll skip that for now. I believe we have already spoke about our cloud page. When we create the cloud page, here we have a different set of forms that we can create. When customers fill out the form, I can directly bring them into a journey. Let me pick up one of the forms that we have already created before in the session. We have created plenty of forms and disk cases before. This is one of the forms that we have created. Now, if the customer fill out this form, this is a landing page we have created. Here I am using a smart form. The smart form name is Kumar, 10th February, and I have first name, last name, email address and phone number. I have 4 of these fields. When I use Cloud Page as my entry source, when I click on them, it will ask me to pick up the forms we have created. You can see all the forms here. If I just scroll down, keep scrolling, I should be able to find my form which I have created. It says Kumar. I think this is the one. This is the name. Form name is Kumar 10. It should usually show here. But it's maybe I may not be published as a page. That's the reason it may be not showing. When I have probably have this form. When this is published and then try if it retrieves, it should definitely show for us. I should see the form name what I have created, Kumar 10th. I can directly pick up this form. Your first name, email address and phone number. But in this form I have a 4 field. I should see all of these 4 fields here. And when I pick up, and these set of customers will be added as my entry source. Suppose if any of the customer come into this page and if they fill out a form, and immediately I'll be able to trigger an email to the customers. Like immediately in real time. I would recommend this to I would request you to work on this. It's pretty much straightforward. And if you are stuck anywhere, and please let me know, you just have to create one landing page. Whenever you create this landing page, just put the form. We have already covered this, how we can add a spot capture form and then publish this page and pick up this form naming too. Into the cloud page as an entry source here. And then we just have to pick up the smart capture form that you have created here. And then all of these customers, and you go live with this cloud page, and you just simply submit some random records here. As soon as you click on submit, and within 1 minute, if I have any email campaigns, they should have received. Within 1 minute or maximum, let's say 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, they should get the email communication more or less like a real time. In this source, we can use it using a cloud page. And moving on to Salesforce data, we have already covered along with the integration. Now I'm moving on with the last entry. Source which we have is an event we also already spoke about because this is the same as a way back. Now to cover this event, we need to talk about contact data. Contact data is nothing, but when I go to Juni settings or when I go to data, here it shows the difference between a Juni data and contact data. Juni data is nothing but pointing data in whichever the customers that you have in the data extension. They never changes unless we change them to an automation. It never changes. It's a point in data. But contact data is a system of record. It will have a most up-to-date information for a customer. I think we have already done this exercise in the session before to talk about how we can create a data model. We can create a relationship. I have these customers. It's not a problem. What I need to do is I need to create one more data extension. Let's say these are all interested customers. And I would say this has a purchased customer. And send a bill. In this, we will have a subkey. We will have a purchase date. Purchase value. Awesome. We will keep all the information relevant to the customer. Relevant to the customer transaction. I'm just hiding only purchase date and purchase value. This purchase date needs to be a date-based field. In this data extension, this subkey is going to be my primary key. Let's create this data extension. Error updating filter. Error updating filter. This is some strange error that I'm getting. I'm getting filter. Sometimes Marketing Cloud used to act lazy. Let's refresh and try again. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a data relationship between two tables. Now I have interested customers who has shown interest for the product and service. I have the Minnesota survey data extension. And it may be not the same cases in your organization. You may have the customers in a different table and you may have the customers who has purchased in a different table. We will have these challenges in the majority of the organization. We cannot keep all the information in a single table. We will have the purchase customers as a pay table. In this, we will have our subkey. We will have a first name, last name, email address, phone number, login date. We will have all the information in this interest. In the purchase table, I will have only subkey. I will have a purchase date, purchase value, purchase items, purchase frequency. I will have all the information in this table. We will be talking about only a transaction. In this table, it will be talking about only the customer information. Now, what if management is asking to trigger an email to the customer who has already purchased the product? I don't have the email address, phone number, and all of them. How do I send an email to the customers with this data extension? No. Until and unless I make a query using a subscriber key to a subscriber key. Then that's when I can trigger an email, but I don't want to do a query. But I would like to make a real relationship in a real time. That's when we create a contact data. Let me create this data extension. I will just probably keep only one. Purchased customers match. Hopefully it works now. Now I have two data extensions, interest table and purchase table. If I go to contact builder now, I am going to make a relationship between two of these tables. Here I will click on creating a new attribute group. Here I will say you can pick up any of this icon which is relevant for the attribute group that we are creating. I will pick up something that I am happy. Here I can create a data extension. I will also link the data extension. Let's click on data extension. Here we have a data extension. Let's pick up the data extension which we have created. What we are trying to do is we are mapping the system data with the data extension. Interested customer here. Now I can see the fields we are going to of these tables. This is my interest table and this is my customer data. What I see here is my system attributes. I am saying subscriber key in the system attribute is equal to subscriber key in this data extension. And click on save. It says that if I make this relationship, I may not be able to make changes to this data extension. I am giving this information. Now I should be able to see the relationship created for us. From a system attribute to data extension. And now I am going to link another data extension here. With the purchase table. Here if I click here, here we have an add relationship. I will click on Add Relationship. Now I have the interest table here. Here I have to pick up the purchase table. And then I am going to make a relationship between the two of these tables. Purchase table. Subkey to subkey. This is a unique field that I have in this two of this data extension. It changes from organization to organization. We have discussed about it. It may be email address, it may be something else. We will keep the field unique like in every organization. It has to be that unique field we have to pick up here. And then yes, in this one-to-one relationship, this is a one-on-one relationship that we have done it. There is a one-to-many and one many-to-many relationship we have. There are 3 cardinalities we have in total. Since we have connected subkey to subkey, it is a one-on-one relationship. And the perfect example is one customer can have only one other card number or one parent card number. That is a one-on-one relationship. We have a one-to-many. That means if you have a multiple fields which you can relate it as a unique field in a data extension. Like an email address subscribe key, then one-to-many. Some organization will also have multiple unique fields in a data extension, like a subscriber key and also email address or a phone number. In that situation, it is a one-to-many. The next example is one customer can have multiple bank accounts. I can have an Axis Bank account, I can have SBA, I can have HDFC and all of them. And many-to-many is like many fields in this will have a matching. I mean many fields in a system. Attribute will be connected with multiple attributes. That means a perfect example is any customer can buy multiple products. Many customers can buy multiple products in e-commerce web page at a single time. That is a many-to-many relationship. We have a 3 cardinality. One-to-one, one-on-one to many and many-to-many. What we have done is we need a one-to-one relationship because we have picked up only one key value, which is a subscriber key. Unit will know. Let me save this and refresh it, because when I refresh, that's when my contact data that we have created will start reflecting. We need this contact data like for setting up PXE criteria, Google criteria. We can use this contact data only for not only like here for users, like different use cases of the journey, but also for XE criteria and Google criteria is something that we can use it only with the contact data. Now we have created the contact data. Now let's click on event. Let's not discuss about the contact data because this is already up for a day. We will not see this option like anymore, like after some time. We have only date-based app event. Let's click on this. And here, whatever the attributes we see here is what is already being created in the contact builder. We have to find out the one which we have created. It's called March, something I have created. It's something called Search It here. I give it a name as a March or something. I cannot find them here, it's fine. I can just use one of those attributes that we have already. There are plenty of them. I have already created March and the chance of probably use this. We are working on the date-based event. In the relationship that I have created, we have the date field. I should be able to pick up that. We discussed about this. Event really works, the same as a wait and the event. We already discussed here. What we will be able to do is we can pick up only the date-based attribute here as an entry point. Example, if I have an expiry date, if I have a birth date, if I have a new date, I can pick up them directly here. It will show only the date-based events. Suppose if I pick up here, it says only a modified date for me here because it's a date field. If I go with this attribute table, there is something definitely wrong. It should show my contact data which I have created. I'll just go with this one. Now it shows the date-based field that I have in this contact data. Suppose if I would like to trigger an email, like on a yearly basis, like just before the customer date of birth. Here, I can just control it if I drag them here and it says like 2 days before date of birth. Here, if I have the subscription date or expiry date, something like that, I can just simply pick up the date and share as well. 2 days before date of birth. And you might have probably noticed, companies like Make My Trip, Booking.com, they usually collect your information like about anniversary date, birth, date of birth and all of them. And I usually like get an email like from companies like Make My Trip, Booking.com saying that happy first anniversary. Happy second anniversary. And this is a perfect definition for your second anniversary. Would you like to visit them? They've triggered an email to you based on the events that we have. I've write the important events that we have in life. They try to capture those information from you and then they trigger an email. Our email communication depends on that. Here, instead of date of birth, it has to be anniversary date. And just before, like 14 days of your anniversary date, 14 days of your anniversary date, we trigger an email to them saying like now, if I just pick up these 14 days, and here I'm not putting any filter like India only to the customers, like country is equal to India and all of them. Now, only all of the set of customers will enter into my journey. When customers have this criteria, that's when they are. When this something like up matching the criteria that I have created, they will enter into my communication. This is exactly the same as what we have done it here. Weight and weight by attribute. It's exactly the same. But here we are controlling it as an entry source. But here we are using them here as a local. That's the only difference. I hope all the entry sources like pretty much make sense. We have like a book, like another 15 minutes. In that time, I also talk about exit criteria. When do we? Usually it's the customer. When customer purchase a product or when probably customer opt out from the. Now I know like why my attribute is not showing here because I did not make. My data extension is a sendable purchase data extension. I did not make it as a sendable. That's the reason it was not showing for me at the time of Journey Builder. I can understand now. Exit criteria. Now, when do we exit the customer? Basically, when customer opt out. When customer purchase a product. That's when we move the customers from my existing journey. Let's say like opt out. In the description there, leave this part. I can pick up only the content data. Here I have all the attributes. Here, I should be definitely able to see the one which I have created. I think it's called March or something like that. It's not an attribute. You can find it, but it's definitely should be there this time. I'll just pick up something randomly here. When we pick up the contact, data to choose the customer, this is something that you can definitely use it. All of them here. Here I can see some objects like an opt-in date and opt-in source and all of them. Suppose we have a field called opt-in status. I can just drag and drop the opt-in status and then say opt-in status is equal to opt-in status is equal to inactive. If it's equals like inactive, something like that, we exit the customer from the journey. When customer has the status, they will be automatically executed from the journey. Since we are using a content data, that means it's a real thing. The customers may change the status at any point of time. Whenever they change it, the customer data gets updated and they will be in a real time exceeded from the journey. That's why we use this exit criteria. And you can also keep this exit criteria for purchase status. Purchase status is equal to already purchased. And we can exit the customer. They don't get any irrelevant communication. We are asking them to buy the product. Here we have a goal criteria that also works on the contact data. But instead of an exit criteria that we have picked up, we are going to pick up the goal criteria here. Example purchase status is equal to purchased if let's imagine let's say this is a purchase field that we have already in the contact data if this equals purchased. And here in the next step, here we can also create a kind of goal. Let's imagine that you are sending an email to 10,000 customers. Or 10,000 customers, you want at least 1,000 customers to buy your product. I say I want 1,000 people to buy my product. Buy my product, service. We have given the criteria saying purchase is equal to status, purchased status is equal to purchased. When that status changed from not purchased to purchase. And when we each hit 100 customers or 1,000 customers, we will be giving a keep on status first when we click on done. This goal is created. Goal criteria is now configured. When I activate this journey and when I go back and check in the tab, it will show you 10 customers have already purchased. You have reached a 10% of your goal. And then this goal will be keep on changing. We just have to refresh and after we send out and we have to come back and check every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We will be able to see how much is the percentage that we have achieved far. That's the kind of stats that we should be able to check when we set this goal criteria. And apart from this, we also have to set up this journey settings. Especially like this contact data. Without this contact data, we cannot be able to activate this journey. We have a no entry. No re-entry. That means if my customers is loading into my journey and they should not re-enter into my journey. In that situation, example, if the same customer shows interest multiple times in the landing page, I don't want to bring them into my journey. That's the case, we keep it as a no re-entry, and if you want to re-enter any time, if they show interest multiple times like 10 times, 100 times, they will get 100 emails from us. Only after exit if the customer is already in the flow, and if they are here, they will not enter into my journey. Unless if they leave my journey, they will not enter and they'll not get the communication back from us unless they leave. And we have default email address and default mobile number. In the data extension that we send out, there could be a possibility. Multiple email address fields you may have. Like primary email address, secondary email address, personal email address too. You may have a multiple email address fields in the data extension that you may send it. Which is the data access, which is the field that you would like to use it for sending the email. Is it a primary or is it official? We have to pick up that here. This is a case only when you have a multiple email attributes in a data extension. Otherwise, we don't need to do anything. It will automatically pick up the one field which we have. If you have a multiple field, please make sure that you pick up it. Same goes for the phone number. Phone number. One phone number, two personal number, official number if you have many. We have to pick up the phone number. I think yes, with that we will be able to like complete the entire journey. We have already discussed about a couple of workflows. This is this couple of two. I would like to recall it. Suppose let's imagine as an e-commerce based company. They usually send out an email communication to us once we buy the product. And after some days, they usually send out an email to get a feedback pass. And here we send out the email to get the feedback. And here I'll put the decision split. And when customer give me a rating less than 2, equal to 2 or less than 2, I will create a case. I'm going to create a condition here saying if the customer feedback, the feedback email I'm sending here, the customer will be able to fill the feedback. And after we fill up the feedback, if the rating is less than 2, I will create a case tag. That means what happens is this will create a case in the Service Cloud. What is a Service Cloud? Service Cloud is a case management. It's a tool that we use it for case management and we maintain the relationship there with the customer. Case will be created. It will be assigned to one of the support team automatically. And then they call the customer and then ask for what is the issue. And if they would like to refund the product, refund the money, or probably if there is a defect, they can probably replace the product. That's something they can directly take care of it. We can just give a signal directly to our Salesforce Service Cloud. This is something that we can do. And one more example that what we can do is probably there are many campaigns we do. It depends on customer life cycle. In each Sales Cloud. In the Sales Cloud, we have many objects. We have leads, we have opportunity, we have an account, all. Now, in how we were working in my previous administration list, when the customers show interest, they come into this feed. And that depends on the scoring for each and every customer. We convert them into opportunity. When customer come into opportunity, that's when it will be assigned to a sales representative. Sales representative will call the customer and convert them into a closure. And then when it's closed, it will become they will become our. Now, this is a customer life cycle. When we are taking customer from one object to another object, the set of the object is for industry customer. This is hot leads and this is a purchase customers. Now, here we know like once we do this integration with the sales, I can use these objects directly. I can use the lead. I can use opportunity. I can use all of them. Now I send an email to lead customers here. I send over email. And here I put the engagement after sending the email. And if the customer open my email, I'm going to convert them into a lead. I can convert them into a lead directly. From lead to opportunity, I can convert them. I'm saying I'm giving a signal to a Salesforce. This set of customers has opened my link. That means they are interested to know more about the product. They are not just leads, they are also hot leads. I can just give them a kind of a signal. Whichever the customers they come into this flow, they will be automatically converted into opportunity. This is something that we can also do. And there are like this pretty much everything. If you like to access the lead object, opportunity object, account object, we can directly drag and drop. Then we'll be able to start using the objects into the journey builder directly. But this works only when we have the integration, and otherwise it will not work for us. But most of the cases we just go only with the flow controls and the different the entry sources we have when you have the integration done already. These are set of objects that we can also directly use it in the journey. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.